A massive head and shoulders pattern is forming on Bitcoin. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, I'm going to be answering the question, is this head and shoulders pattern about to drop Bitcoin much farther down to a price target around $20,000 to $25,000? Historically, head and shoulders patterns are very bad signs for Bitcoin rally, so we're going to be discussing all of that and more in today's video. If you do enjoy today's video, hit that like and subscribe button. But without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to Corey Clay here. They said, "This is Bitcoin. Thank you for your analysis and the common sense." You're very welcome, Corey Clay. Common sense isn't that common anymore, but hopefully the sense of this channel seems common to you. Sometimes that ends up going very well. Sometimes I'm like, what the f did I just say? Thank you very much, Corey Clay, for the comment. Let's jump onto the chart. Guys, there is a very important pattern going on Bitcoin. We have been discussing the level of support of $30,000, and as you can see, it is sitting right here. Bitcoin has been remarkably bullish over the last couple of months, hitting an all-time high of $42,000. But ever since that high, we moved into a triangle pattern, as you can see right here, and unfortunately, we had a massive crash. Bitcoin has now bounced from that crash all the way up to a high of $36,500, but we didn't return to the all-time high, solidifying the downtrend. What happens now is anyone's guess, but I do need to present some evidence. What we see right now is called a head and shoulders pattern. We have a shoulder right there, a head right there, and a shoulder right there. Keep your comments to yourself. It's called a head and shoulders pattern. I know it looks like a mountain, but it's called a head and shoulders pattern. To define this pattern, let me give you a couple of examples. First of all, we have the first shoulder, then we have the head, then we have the second shoulder. A head and shoulders pattern also has something called a neckline. That's what this line is right here. As you can see, Bitcoin has pulled back down to this neckline multiple times over the last several weeks. The way that you use a head and shoulders pattern is you measure from the very top of the head all the way down to the middle of the neckline, and then you have a line. This line now becomes your price target, and you drag it down to the neckline, and then wherever this line ends up is where you should expect the market to go. In this case, this head and shoulders pattern puts a price target of $18,000. All right, pump the brakes. I am not at all saying that Bitcoin is going to $18,000. If you're new here and you haven't used head and shoulders patterns before, their price targets can be a little bit extreme sometimes. But the takeaway here is that this is a bearish or otherwise a bad pattern for Bitcoin, and it does indicate that Bitcoin might see more bearishness in the short-term future. And there's quite a lot of evidence to back that up. The main piece of evidence I want to present to you is that Bitcoin only rallied to $36,000 right here, not managing to rally all the way back to 42. This is called a lower high, and this defines a downtrend. Let me go ahead and delete all this stuff on my chart. You can do that with this little button right over here. It's this little delete key. I'm going to take a trend line and draw it between this high and this high. What we have is a downtrending level of resistance that is holding the market down. We also have an uptrending level of support right here that is holding the market up. This is called a consolidation pattern. It's a very steep consolidation pattern at that. We are very likely to break one of these trend lines very, very soon, i.e. in the next couple of days. And guys, speaking of consolidation patterns and triangle patterns and descending and ascending triangle patterns, we got a really nice comment yesterday. Dean Matthews said, "Owing to CT2A, our academy, I was able to spot descending triangle patterns on the hourly chart on BTC, ADA, and Ethereum in the same hours on Friday. Almost exact replicas of each other. My whole thought was, oh snap, that dip is really coming across the board and I need to figure out my plan for it." Well, I'm glad you were able to discern that from what you learned in CT2A, Dean Matthews. It's very important that you're able to discern what these patterns are. What Bitcoin is doing right now is it's forming a head and shoulders pattern. That's something we talk about in the academy. And it is in a consolidation pattern. Those consolidation patterns almost always result in a big breakout on Bitcoin. Notice how we have a consolidation pattern here with a downtrending level of resistance and an uptrending level of support. Looks very similar to the pattern we had up here. Notice how this pattern broke bearish. These patterns don't always break bearish, but they very well can. So let's back out to the daily chart because there's more to talk about. Number one, what we see on the chart here is called the three black crows. It's called that because we have three red candlesticks. It's called the three black crows and not the three red crows because historically candlestick charts were in black and white. No, I'm not joking. Even back in the day, even candlestick charts were in black and white. Either way, this right here is a very bearish pattern, and you'll often find them showing up at the beginning of a major downtrend. That seems to corroborate the evidence that we have from the head and shoulders pattern that Bitcoin might be about to go lower. But if we bring up the Bollinger Bands here, we're going to see something very nice. Bitcoin had been riding the outside of the bands for a very long time, but because of this pullback, Bitcoin is pulled back down to the middle of the Bollinger Bands. Not only that, it is pulled back down to 58 on the RSI, resetting it, and MACD is starting to move to the downside. We're seeing a bearish cross on MACD, which I think for the first time in history might be a good thing. Here's this whole video in a nutshell. Is Bitcoin about to fall below $30,000? there's a pretty decent chance that that could happen. But at the same time, I don't want to make that call because Bitcoin is so volatile right now, and it really can go either way, guys. The takeaway from this video is not Jeb is saying Bitcoin's going to go this way, and it's not Jeb is saying Bitcoin's going to go that way. The takeaway from this video is that Bitcoin correcting is a very good thing. No matter how far it drops, whether that's $18,000 or $25,000 or $30,000, and the fact that Bitcoin is correcting is not a bad thing. I want you guys to grasp this because it's really, really important. Bitcoin correcting is not a bad thing. In fact, it's a buying opportunity. In fact, it's an opportunity for us to load up our bags with even more Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And by the way, it's a great time for us to study the cryptocurrency markets, to learn as much as we possibly can about Bitcoin so that we can make the most of these markets. Because the trap I don't want you to fall into is always having to run to YouTube, always having to run to trade signals that some YouTuber is giving you. I want you to be able to think for yourself. I want you to be able to learn and do this on your own. I want you to have independence away from me and everyone else so you can come to us for our opinions, but not as a student, as an equal. I've been in this space for a very long time, guys, and it's really, really important that you invest in your education. It's the only way that you'll ever be successful in this trade. If you think just using trade signals is the thing that's going to get you there, I can tell you, you are wrong. It's helpful. Sometimes it's nice, but if you don't understand why those trade signals are being called and you can't do the analysis on your own, you are hurting yourself because you don't understand how to work in the markets. So the takeaway from this video is this. When Bitcoin corrects, it's not a bad thing. When Bitcoin corrects, it can be a very good thing. And in fact, I would say this is an example. Even if this correction goes on for another month or two, which I don't think is going to happen, but even if it did, I'd say that's a very good thing for Bitcoin. During times like this, we should be looking to load up our bags with more Bitcoin because Bitcoin just proved that it can go to $42,000 and it will do it again. And we should be looking to invest in our education and invest in our knowledge of the space and be continually learning and improving ourselves, making ourselves more disciplined, making ourselves more committed to growth in the space, being more consistent in our trades, being more diligent, being more dedicated, whatever word you want to use, whatever motivational speaker got you fired up this morning before you watch this video. Understand that the only thing stopping you from these crazy amounts of money that some of these people in cryptocurrency are making. I mean, I remember 2 years ago, there was a guy that made $100,000 in one trade. The trade was open for 15 minutes. That's life-changing. But the only way he did that was by investing in his education. And guys, that is exactly why we created the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, because it is the one-stop shop to learn everything you need to know about technical analysis, trading, investing, reading the markets, and profiting in this space. In CT2A, you're going to get access to 36 videos and over 12 hours of high-quality education based on real-world trading, real-world investment that over 3,000 students have taken. CT2A has been active for 2.5 years now, and if you look in the comment section down below, you're going to see some people talking about it, and you're going to get some testimony. Guys, please leave comments down below telling people what you really think about CT2A. I'm not telling you to pat my ego and say, CT2A is great. If there's something wrong, let us know so that we can fix it. We're striving every day to make the best product that we possibly can, because we believe that if we can help you to learn technical analysis, that we can help you to gain financial independence, and that opens the door to helping with a lot of the problems that we have in our everyday lives. When I got into cryptocurrency, I was in a broken place. I was mentally broken. I was not exactly financially stable, and I really didn't have a lot. It was a hard time. It really was. I was graduating high school, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, but I found cryptocurrency, and I decided if I can just invest in myself and understand this market, I can change my life, and I can maybe then use that to change other people's lives. And that dream has come true, and I'm helping, I hope, to change you guys' life through teaching you technical analysis. Tell us in the comment section down below if we're doing a good job on that. I very much hope we are, because it's what I work 60 or 70 hours a week to do every week. I hope it's working. If it's not, let us know. I'd like to change it because I do want it to happen, and I think it is. Anyway, sale pitch. Use the coupon code New Year's 2021 at checkout to get $75 off on the Academy. And yes, we do have a full 14-day money-back refund guarantee if you decide that it's not for you. And by the way, we do accept Bitcoin payments. I am more than happy to take your Bitcoin payments because I like holding Bitcoin. We have quite a bit of Bitcoin holdings, and they've been doing pretty well over the last couple of months. So if you'd like to pay in Bitcoin, you're more than welcome to. Shoot us an email at cryptojeb@gmail.com. Guys, the first takeaway from this video is that crashes are not a bad thing. Even if Bitcoin corrects, that's okay. And the second takeaway is invest in your education. You will thank me later. I guarantee it. I promise you, you will. I so promise you will. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do just first really from the bottom of my heart want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.